This video I'm going to show you how to do the dimensions on your engineering drawings for your puzzle pieces. Once you've got all of your pieces modeled and you have created engineering drawings for them, we need to put dimensions on those drawings in order for someone to be able to recreate this. In manufacturing, all that a manufacturer gets typically is not a complete solid model. They typically just get a two-dimensional set of drawings on paper. When you're out on a shop floor, you don't have space usually to have a giant computer or anything else. You want to have something that's really easy to reference. And so paper drawings are still kind of the main way that we communicate how to build things and how to get things the correct size. So here you can see my purple piece, and I've put the dimensions in already. And that's because I want to talk a little bit about some rules of dimensions that's kind of important. We have about 5 or 6 things that are really important. There's tons of detail when it goes into dimensions, and we're not going to cover all of that in this class. We're just going to do the basics. The things that we need to worry about are, like, first off, you need to make sure that you have the total width, height, and depth of each object in one continuous dimension. So that way someone can quickly look at the object or quickly look at the drawing and be able to say, well, I know I need a piece of material that's 2.25 by 2.25 by 1.5. We need to have that overall information. The other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're keeping our closest dimension, or our smallest dimensions, closest to the object. So you can see here I have these smaller ones. In this case I really don't have any that are nested, but you could easily take this dimension and have it over on this side. That's fine. What we don't want to see is we don't want to see dimensions that are crossing each other. So something where you have a dimension line crossing a dimension line. So this here is a dimension line. We wouldn't want to have something crossing it. Same like here. I'm going to break 2 rules here. I'm going to do a dimension, and not only is it crossing another dimension, it's actually dimensioned to a hidden line, which is another one of our rules that we don't do. We never want to dimension to a hidden line. There's almost in every case a better way of doing this, and if you can't find a better way, then you need to talk to me, because there's always a way to get around that. So in this case I've broken 2 rules here, so I don't want to see things like that. You want to make sure that your dimensions are going to stay inside, the smaller ones stay inside of the bigger ones. One of the other things we have to worry about is making sure that our dimensions are complete, yet we don't want to over-dimension the object. We don't want too much, because that clutters the drawing and makes it difficult to read. So you can see here that I have an overall dimension on this front view that shows me the width. And then I have up here a dimension that shows the width of this piece and a width of this piece. I do not have a dimension in between here. I don't need that, because I already have this length. I don't need to have this information, because it's a result. So if I have this piece here and I have this piece here, this is a resulting piece. So we don't need to worry about that. So it's tricky. You have to make sure you have enough information, but you don't want to be too much. In this case here, you can see that this dimension here shows me how far this part sticks out. That also gives me the information of how wide this piece right here is, because I happen to know that this is 1.5 inches and it's 3/4 of an inch back. So then I know that this is also 3/4 of an inch. That way we avoid dimensioning to a hidden line. The other thing that we avoid is one of our other guidelines here is not putting a dimension on the actual object. Now that one can have an asterisk next to it. Occasionally there is a valid reason to put a dimension on an object. For puzzle cubes there really isn't, but on a more complex object that may be the only way to do something. It's very rare, and we try to avoid that at all costs. Now I want to go through the process of showing you how to dimension your object. So I'm going to switch over to my red piece, and you'll see I have no dimensions on here. The dimension tool in Onshape is pretty simple. It's up here on the top. You just click on this, and it works very similar to the dimension tool on the sketching or modeling tabs. What it does is it allows you to select a segment, so you'll see a segment's highlighted here, or you can select points. And when you're doing dimensions, typically you want to try, and this kind of gets into the best practice side of things, we want to try to dimension features where they're kind of easy to understand what's going on. So for example, this part here, we have this piece that sticks up. On the top view I can see that this part is here. I see there's a surface change because I have this line. I don't really know what from just this view by itself is going on, but I can tell from this view that this is higher than that. It's better to put that dimension here than it is to put it here, because this gives you a better idea of what it is that's going on with the object. Okay, and so consequently, the same is true here. So like this one here, it's the same idea. I could put a dimension here, and it would work, but honestly, this is a better location for that dimension. Okay, so I'm going to put those dimensions in. For overall length, or width I should say, in this case I'm going to have to use points because I have individual segment lines. I'm going to place it down here. And do I have to place it down here? No, I could place it up here. I could also place it above. It really doesn't matter. I'm just placing it down here because I feel like it kind of cleans up the object. It doesn't clutter this area too terribly bad. The other thing we have to dimension, I need to know depth, so I'm just going to go ahead and dimension the depth right here. I could also do that over here. Either way is totally acceptable. I'm going to put a dimension here for how big this piece is, and you'll see that that gives me how far this sticks out, so I don't need another dimension here, so I'm not going to add that. I still need height, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a dimension height wise here, and you'll see that I'm going to make it so it lines up with the dimensions up here. That's just a neatness and a cleanliness thing. Makes things look a little nicer. You want the drawing to look neat and clean. That makes it look professional. If you have drawings that dimensions all over the place randomly, a little bit of a question mark there as far as what's going on and why, and it just doesn't look as nice. Looking at this drawing, I'm still missing one. I need to know this height here. So I can put it in a number of places. Right here is just fine. I can place it there. I could have also placed that over here. That would have been acceptable as well. Either place will work. There may be times where you have one of your views that has no dimensions on it whatsoever. That's totally acceptable. It happens, and so there's nothing to worry about there. So last step, I'm going to go through, I'm going to double check that I have all the information I need to create this. And so I know I need my overalls, so I have the overall depth, I have the overall height, and I have the overall width. I need to know how big this piece is, and I have that. I need to know how long that is. Well, I have that because I know how wide this piece is, and then that resulting number from there. I do know how tall this is, and I do know how tall that is. At this point, I think I'm satisfied that I've dimensioned this completely. I don't have too many dimensions. I haven't duplicated anything. So for the red piece, this is a completed engineering drawing. The other type of drawing that you're going to have to create is what's called an assembly drawing. So if I flip over here, you're going to create an assembly drawing, and it's just going to show you your piece or your puzzle that's completely assembled, and it's going to have all of these bubbles, and this here is called a bill of materials. Completing this or making this is pretty simple. Come over to the plus. You're going to create a drawing. In here, you're going to use your template. You'll say OK. Once your template loads, we're going to go through, and instead of looking at Part Studios, we're going to look at assemblies. So we're going to click on the assembly. I'm going to choose assembly number 1. And I'm going to bring this view in, and it defaults again to the front view, which is fine. I don't really want the front view, so I'm going to change it here. I don't need another view, so I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to right click on this view, and the first thing I'm going to do is change the orientation, and I'm going to change that to isometric. Once that it's in that isometric orientation, I'm going to right click again, and I want to say show shaded view, and that gives me the color version. The last bit that we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the bill of materials, and if you look here you can see it's called BOM table, bill of materials. So you click on that. It gives you an option, and we're going to just click this into this. We're going to snap it up into the corner on the title block. It's going to show us the item numbers and the quantities, and then part number and description, which we're not going to worry about right now. Right now I don't know which item number is which, so to do that we're going to use what are called callouts or bubbles. So we click on the callout button, and all I have to do is come in here and click on one of the parts and then drag it away, and it automatically numbers that for you. So hopefully your three-dimensional view gives you a view that allows you to see all 5 of your puzzle pieces. If it doesn't, what you will need to do is you'll need to add a second view of your object and put it in a different orientation so that you can show where those other pieces are. Once you have that, you rename it, and you will get your title block information entered in here, and you've completed your assembly view. And so that's how you do dimensioning and completing the assembly view drawings in Onshape.